2016 has been a year of social consciousness for the NBA, with some of the league's brightest stars speaking out on the topics of racial profiling and gun violence in particular. Dwyane Wade has been one of those voicing his opinions, but when his career took him back to his Chicago roots this summer, he was confronted by the reality of his hometown's homicide epidemic in a most personal way.
We'd like to let the whole world know that there are more positive things that come out of our community than negative things.
In the waning days of the deadliest summer Chicago has endured in decades, a Southside church provided respite in the form of two unifying forces, peace and love of basketball. Reverend Michael Pfleger, working with Hall of Famer and Chicago native Isaiah Thomas, began the peace games at St. Sabina 5 years ago as a way to unite opposing gang members. Over time, a game developed into a league and an education and jobs program. While on the court, mistrust gave way to a meritocracy, where skills supersede affiliations.
You and I might be in the same gang. This guy over here is another gang, but he plays better ball than you and I want to win. So teams were formed about competition and about skill rather than rivalry and turf on the street. Well, then when you're playing ball together and your team together, all of a sudden you're being, man, you just like me.
Well, it brings everybody together, no matter what gang you come from, what neighborhood you come from. At the end of the day, you're able to duke it out, you're able to shake hands and say a good game. You know, it's healthy competition, and that's what we need.
Chicago has never needed solutions more than now. In August alone, the city recorded more than 90 murders. And according to the Chicago Tribune, Chicago is on pace for its highest homicide total since 1997. The killings, concentrated on the city's west and south sides, are almost exclusively shootings, and police say often gang-related. The vast majority of victims are young black men. The city's famously big shoulders are sagging under the weight of it all.
You actually don't know about where you can go, what's going to happen. With here, it's like, am I safe? Am I going outside? Am I safe staying in the house? Am I even safe being here?
The chaos is costing innocent lives. 32-year-old Nikia Aldridge was pushing her baby in a stroller on her way to register her kids at this school when police say two gang members on parole began firing their guns at a rival. Aldridge was shot by mistake and killed, leaving behind 4 children and an extended family, including her cousin, Dwyane Wade. How does your perspective change when you become, like thousands of families in this city, one of the people directly affected?
Yeah, I mean,
by gun violence?
When it's happened to your family, when your auntie is the one that's crying on your shoulder, if you're looking at your nephews and your nieces and their whole life is turned upside down, if you're looking at a 3-week-old baby and you realize she would never get to know her mother, like all these things, when it's up close, when it's personal, when it's in your family, it really becomes real.
Wade knew his hometown was hurting when he decided to return as a free agent with the Bulls. The day before Nikia's death, he appeared in an ESPN town hall discussion about topics including gun violence. When we met him in late October, he was filming an ad campaign in a city park not far from where he grew up. How do you feel about the 2 young men, police say gang members, who are accused of shooting Nikia?
I mean, my auntie says she forgive them, you know, and as I said, my auntie can say she can forgive them, then we can all forgive. Because I'm not saying it's not their fault, because obviously, you know, they're the one who's did it, but a lot of it comes from their environment. A lot of it comes from what they know, and that's not their fault.
Tell me about Nikia. Who was she?
Nikia was one of our jewel in our family. She was our quiet jewel, but you'll know when she done entered the room because she lights the room up. She had this, I say $1,000, $1 million smile. She was such a beautiful person. Also, she was a member of her auntie's church, so I was Pastor TT.
Pastor TT is Jolinda Wade, Dwyane's mother, who emerged from drug addiction and prison to become a Baptist preacher at the church her son bought for her, which is now expanding into a community center.
Pastor Jolinda Wade.
We thank you, Father God, for being the holder of our problems and being the holder of the issues of our hearts. We just thank you, Father God, that you hold them.
She says her niece's death is part of a terrifying trend of violence, fueled by gangs, guns, drugs, and social media feuds, and more unpredictable than ever.
My niece was going to register her kids in school. So that means now you don't have to be in no gang. You don't have to be, you can be driving on the expressway. Now it's happening like that. You can be jogging. Now it's happening like that. You can be coming home from school, just coming here to visit your family, and now it's happening like that. So it's happening in our everyday life.
It's people want to get even. They don't want to just like let the police deal with it because they feel like the police is bad. Oh, they're not gonna do anything about it. They're just gonna let it sit on the desk. Oh, we're gonna take it into our own hands. We're gonna go get even. We're gonna go get even. That's all they wanna do. Or if they don't wanna get even, they wanna take more. And the other side gonna do the same thing. So it's not, I don't believe it's ever gonna stop sometimes.
Jonathan Owens is one of the young men here choosing a different life for himself. He came to the Peace Games as a player, but through Father Pfleger's programs, he landed an internship, then full-time employment. We spoke to him about growing up in a neighborhood where it can be easier to get a gun than a job.
What is the process to obtain a gun around here? How long would it take you?
It's not even 5 minutes.
Try to help us understand why, other than someone making fun of each other, that they just pick up a gun and say, I'm gonna kill somebody. What's underneath all of this?
Everything is, to me, is hatred. People just skipped out on loving each other, and to where I don't even want you around me no more, to where people believe in making memories of you.
How important is it to just play together, get to know one another, and does that have any impact?
Any sport game brings out the competitiveness in you. But then it's rather than me wanting to fight you on the court, which would be positive because it's a win or lose, but we both get to walk away. And then it leads to, in the streets, to where I can we built a bond. We battle with each other all day, and now you see me outside, we speak to each other, then we can just it goes from there.
Changing mindsets is one challenge. Creating opportunities is another. After nearly a half-century of working with the young men he calls brothers from the block, Father Pfleger says the issue boils down to giving them options. Fairly or not, many look to Wade to invest time and money in troubled areas.
You can't change every neighborhood, but I try to, and my family has tried to focus on certain areas. I grew up on the south side, I grew up in the south suburbs, and we try to focus in those areas and try to uplift those communities. For me, yes, I'm going to do what I can, but I also challenge the city of Chicago. I also challenge the community. It's community leaders. It's people in these communities that's doing very well as well. I also challenge parents to do more.
Given what you and your family have been through this summer, what's your level of optimism about this turning around here in Chicago?
Some days you don't have it, and some days you do. Just to be honest with you, I know that, I would donate money to the city of Chicago to try to help certain communities. I know I would do that. But as I do my job, others have to do theirs. And, as I said, obviously we put responsibility on our youth, but they're following their adults as well. They're following what's going on in their communities. They're doing what they see. So we have to do a better job. Others have to do a better job of leading. And if they don't do it, then the things that I'm trying to do becomes pointless.
In October, Wade launched an initiative called Spotlight On to, quote, change the narrative and recognize young Chicagoans making positive contributions to the city in school, sports, music, art, and volunteer work. The first honoree was recognized during the Bulls' home opener.